Classmates, class is starting. Today we are going to learn about the text component in basic content components. In UniApp, the text component is a basic component used for displaying static text content. It is recommended to use the text component to wrap pure text content in templates. It can enable long press selection of text, continuous spaces, decoding, and other functions. Similarly, there is the rich text component. We'll introduce it later. The rich text component is used for parsing HTML tags. It can typically be used to display product descriptions, file contents, and other application scenarios. It is different from the text component. First, let's introduce some common attributes of the text component. The first attribute is selectable. This attribute indicates whether the text can be selected. When you long press the text, it will select the text. The second is the user select attribute. This one is similar to the selectable attribute and is specifically for WeChat mini programs. There is also the space attribute, which indicates the display of continuous spaces. The decode attribute indicates whether to decode. For the space attribute, it has the following three values. ENSP indicates that the space is half the size of a Chinese character's space. EMSP indicates that the space is the size of a Chinese character's space. NBSP indicates that the space is based on the font setting. These three all refer to the size of the space. The decode attribute refers to parsing and decoding. The decode attribute can parse NBSP, LT, GT, etc. It also supports / for line breaks. Now, let's look at an example to see the basic attributes of the text component. You need to run it in an external browser to view it. First, see if the text can be selected by long pressing. You can see this is a text that can be selected by long pressing. Let's try long pressing it. Selectable. Then right-click to copy. You can paste it here. Of course, you can also run it in PC mode. It is also selectable. You see, it is selectable too. The following content cannot be selected by long pressing. Only this text can be selected by long pressing. Why does this happen? Because the selectable attribute here equals true. This is a text that can be selected by long pressing. When you long press the text above, a copy pop-up will appear. Switch to mobile device mode. You can copy and paste it. This is the first attribute, the selectable attribute. We can also take a look at the space attribute. The value of this space attribute is ENSP. ENSP indicates that the space is half the size of a Chinese character. Look at the page on the right. This space is just that size. Exactly half the size of a Chinese character. The second one uses EMSP, which indicates that the space is the size of a Chinese character. Look at this space. It is exactly the size of a Chinese character. NBSP indicates that the space is based on the font setting. These three are used to set the size of the space. You can choose according to actual application needs. The text component also supports some style attributes that can be used to adjust the appearance of the text. These are some common style attributes. The color attribute sets the text color. The font size attribute sets the text font size. The font weight attribute sets the text font weight. The text align attribute sets the text alignment. The text decoration attribute sets the text decoration effect, such as underline, stroke of rule, etc. These are common styles. Let's also look at an example. The class attribute value of this view component is text style. The text content is hello, UniPP. What styles will apply to that hello, UniPP text? The first sets the text color to red. This text can also be set to other colors. Now it's set to blue. The second one sets the font size. This is the font size attribute, set to 24. We can change it to 30. The third one sets the font weight. This is set to bold, which means bold. The fourth one is the text align attribute, which sets the text alignment. Center means the text aligns to the center. The fifth one is the text decoration attribute, which sets the underline. These are the basic styles supported by the text component that can be used to adjust the appearance. Note, if you want to align text using the text align attribute, generally, you should put this attribute in the upper level of the text component. For example, look at this text stylus style. It is placed in the view. If it's placed at the same level as the text component, the text align attribute set to center will not take effect. This style should be placed in the upper level of the text component to take effect, because it aligns with respect to the parent level. These are the styles supported by the text component. The text component can also dynamically bind text content. This has been learned before, using interpolation expressions. By using double curly braces, you can bind the content of the text to data, achieving dynamic updates. Let's look at an example. Here is a text component binding to the text variable. The text variable is currently empty, so no text is displayed right now. The data for the text variable comes from this text array. How does the text array data get into the text variable? Let's take a look. There are two buttons: Add line and Remove line. Add line is to add one line of text to the text variable. Remove line is to remove one line of text from the text variable. When we click that Add line button, it adds one line from the text array to the text variable. How is it added? Let's take a look. First, the extra line array initializes as empty to store the text extracted from the text array. Each time the Add line button is clicked, it takes the first unextracted line from the text array and adds it to the end of the extra line array. While the first unextracted line This represents the length of the extra line array. Initially, the extra line array is empty, with no stored text, so its length is 0. 0 modulo 12 is 0. The element at index 0 of the text array is the first line of text. Then, this text is extracted and added to the end of the extra line array. Now, the extra line array has this one line of text. With this text variable equals extra line join. The join function connects the array elements into a string. The connector \n is used to indicate a line break. See, the text variable has already displayed the first line of text from the texts array. We click that Add Line button again. Now, the extra line array already has one item, so its length is 1. 1 modulo 12 is 1. So it takes the element at index 1 of the texts array, which is the second line of text, adds this line to the end of the extra line array. Then it joins the elements of the extra line array into a string. The connector \n is used to insert a line break after each piece of text, stores it into the text variable, displaying the first 2 lines of text. Thus, each time that Add Line button is clicked, one more line is displayed. Until when? If the length of the extra line array is less than 12, the cannot variable is true. The Add Line button can be clicked. Why 12? Because the text array has a total of 12 lines, so it is 12. If it's less than 12, it can continuously add text. When the length of the extra line array is greater than 0, you can remove text. Removing text is simple. When the length of the extra line array is greater than 0, you can remove text. How to remove it? Just perform the pop operation on the array, removing the last element of the array. Removing the last line of text from the extra line array. Then, join the elements of the extra line array into a string, stored in the text variable, displayed on the page. The cannot and can remove variables indicate whether these 2 buttons are disabled. See, now 2 lines of text are displayed. Remove 1. Now the array length is 1. The Remove Line button is still usable. Continue removing. Now the array length is 0. The Remove Line button is disabled. The Can Remove variable. When the length of the extra line array is 0, the Can Remove variable is false. See, the Remove Line button is disabled. The Add Line button is still available. Because the length of the extra line array is still less than 12. When the extra line array has 12 elements, the Add Line button will be disabled. See, now the Add Line button is grayed out. Why? Because now the length of the extra line array is 12. The condition is not met. The cannot variable is false, so the Add Line button is grayed out. This is the text component we talked about today. The text component can also use interpolation expressions to achieve data binding, which means dynamically binding text content. Students, today we introduced the basic usage, styles, and attributes of the text component. By learning the text component, we can flexibly display text content in many programs. This lesson ends here. Thank you, everyone.